Welcome, travelers, to High Fantasy. I'm Brett. I clapped and I shouldn't have clapped. You got me clapping.
I need my herb pouch. Daddy's been paying for my salt.
This is part of the poop patrol, ma'am.
And I'm Emily. But I'm like, don't make the robots.
Don't make the robots
crunch. I would speak with dinosaur in a second. I have beef with DC. It's a thing. It's a whole thing.
Join us on our epic world-spanning adventures. Armed with only a bit of long-bottom leaf, we will delve into some of the most amazing worlds of imagination that have ever existed. Before we get into that, don't forget to check out our Patreon if you want to support the channel. And without further ado, let's get into it.
You can clap.
You can.
Yay!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of High Fantasy. I'm Brett.
I'm Emily.
Before we get started on anything today, I'd like to thank Minnie, our highest tier Patreon member. Thank you so much. You help us continue to make these stories, and we love doing it, so we appreciate you. And a big thank you to all of our other Patreon members as well. You continue to support us, and we need it. No, thank you so much. We appreciate you all. And without further ado, let's get into the story. You know what we're talking about today?
World of Warcraft, the next one. Is it the Lords of Draenor?
Warlords of Draenor, yes.
Yes, I only missed out on like one half word.
So last time we did Mists of Pandaria, we got to go into Garrosh and how he's a racist asshole. And how he eventually got taken down by the combined might of the Horde and the Alliance after setting up in Ogremar as his like last bastion of get fucked.
Okay.
We talked.
I do remember that.
The siege of Ogremar.
I guess I shouldn't say it like I wasn't there. I remember this.
Yes. We also remember that Mists of Pandaria had the saddest sell rate of any of the expansions thus far. Not even having a day one like post for how much was sold, because they only sold 2.7 million copies in the first week, as opposed to Cataclysm selling 3.3 day one.
Yeah, just a little bit of a difference. Still a very large number.
Very large number still, and like I think the problem is when you go in with such a high expectation to begin with, and you're not the guys that are putting out those numbers, it starts to look really bad. Like the guys who did Cataclysm were hoisted up on their laurels, while the guys who did Pandaria are probably getting whipped in the basement. So, like it's
Blizzard is set up real
interesting.
The Blizzard headquarters is actually a castle that's fortified with a dungeon.
Yeah,
the torture dungeon.
Yeah, it's just like World of Warcraft. It's actual dungeons. To delve through. Alright, so World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor came out 2 years after Mists of Pandaria.
Okay.
Which makes sense because they wanted to really spend time and they wanted to make it good. They wanted the next big thing in the World of Warcraft world, I guess, to be the big one. Universe to be the big one. And they succeeded fairly well, but we're going to get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
Warlords of Draenor, again, came out November 13th, 2014. The level cap increased from level 90 to level 100.
Okay.
Pretty, standard 10-level jump as is regular. They did the 5-level thing for a little bit, and people didn't like that, so they went back to the 10-level jump.
Okay.
Now, Hellscream stands trial for war crimes, but with the help of Karaz Dormu, if I butchered that name, I'm not sorry. A bronze dragon, he escapes 35 years into the past before the orcs go demon mode.
Okay.
Now, I had you watch the cinematic for Warlords of Draenor before we recorded this podcast, so you saw kind of what happens there. He goes back in time, he talks to the orcs, he lets them know, hey, demon's gonna mess you up, and then they decide, okay, we're gonna stick it to the demons instead. Now here's where things get a little different and a little hard to comprehend, but we're gonna try to wrap our minds around this because it's gonna get convoluted.
I love it.
Now, there's the Dark Portal. The Dark Portal is a portal from Draenor to Azeroth.
Okay.
Azeroth is where our game takes place. Draenor is the broken homeworld of the orcs and the Draenei.
Okay.
Now, all the way back in Burning Crusade, you'll remember I talked about the portal, the Dark Portal, and how it would open up, and that's where the orcs originally came from, and they started swarming continents. We had this big conversation with Kirby, too, so,
yeah.
If you don't remember, go ahead and go back and check out the Horde versus Alliance episode, where we talk a lot about the initial coming of the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he went back 35 years to before the Dark Portal was really a big thing. Right before it happened. So the orcs were about ready to get all juiced up on demon steroids, and they were about to go roid raging through Azeroth. He stopped that from happening. Now, because he stopped that from happening, things go a little bit differently, but we're still in our timeline.
Okay.
The Dark Portal is now continued to be made, but from a different timeline. It is opened again onto our Azeroth. So a new Dark Portal is created.
Oh, okay, so there's a second Dark Portal. Now, history is repeating itself later in time, essentially. Where it's like before it would have like happened 100 years before this, or I guess 35 years before this.
That's the hard part. That's going to be hard to wrap your mind around. So it's not. It happened in a different way. It's our timeline is still fully our timeline. All the things that happened in it still fully happened. So the Horde came through.
Yeah.
They attacked Azeroth. They did all the things. Garrosh is now coming through a different Dark Portal.
Yeah, that's what I guess I'm saying, where it's like it's a second one that's come, right?
Yes, so but it's the same Dark Portal.
Yeah,
but it's opened to a different timeline now.
Oh boy. Time's a wibbly wobbly soup, guys.
Yeah, this is where we're going to talk about some problems, but the biggest thing about this is when this portal opens, it does not open to the shattered, destroyed world of Draenor that we knew.
Mm-hmm.
It opens to a lush, conquerable world, essentially. Like, this Draenor is sustainable. It was not destroyed by the Burning Legion. So this is what Draenor would have been if the orcs hadn't gone nutso bonkers and decided to kind of blow it up. So now we have to deal with the Iron Horde.
Okay.
So Garrosh goes back, he stops the orcs from doing their thing, and instead of being taken over by the demons, they form something called the Iron Horde. The Iron Horde is led by Garrosh Hellscream and Gromosh Hellscream, who are like the two big leaders of this. And with his knowledge of the future, he's able to make siege weapons and all kinds of stuff that they would not have any idea of how to make without him. They have allies, they enlist aid of goblins and other people like that to create these mechanized contraptions of war. But it is very much a magic mixed with engineering to form monstrosities. Like, the things that you have to deal with the Iron Horde are awful. Like, they have tanks. They have the fantasy equivalent of tanks. They make these big spinning balls that actively house troops.
Jeez.
And they have launchers that shoot them. So it'll go right through your big wall that you made, and then it'll pop open, and a bunch of Kor'kron units will just pop out and go rawr rawr face smash.
They really said we're gonna do war better than we warred before.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So it's all of the conquering of the orcs. It's really messed up. There's different clans of orcs and stuff that he's enlisted, but they are all under the Iron Horde. His one true horde, because we know that Garrosh is a orc supremacist. So he believes that the only people that are worthy of being in his horde, truly fighters, are the orcs.
That's crazy.
And you saw a little bit of that with some of the other stuff where it's like the Shattered Hand clan. the War Song clan, which is what his father originally was from. All that fun stuff. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the Shattered Hand clans were all the ones who had swords for hands,
Yes.
knife hands, knife for hand.
Yeah, the Shattered Hand were a bunch of gladiators that succeeded in killing 100 people. And were told they would be given their freedom.
And then never were.
And they had to cut their own hands off in order to gain that freedom. And then they just replaced it with different blades.
That's so badass. I know these are bad people, but that's a pretty metal thing to do. Like,
pretty metal.
The Horde is pretty metal.
Yep.
They're always the bad guy, but they're pretty metal.
So we're sitting in Azeroth right now. The Iron Horde come through the Dark Portal, which it just kind of flickers back to life again. Iron Horde.
And then everybody's like, why is this flickering?
Now there's some problems that come up with this. Obviously, Varian is the new King of Stormwind at this point in time. And he is kind of having PTSD flashbacks.
Well, yeah.
Because he was younger when the first assault from the Black Portal happened, or the Dark Portal, and he saw the turmoil that it brought to his father. And his father had to deal with it, he had to go in blind. Yeah. Essentially. He had no idea what was going on, but he had to muster the forces of the Alliance against the Horde, but he didn't know orcs. He didn't know how they worked. He didn't know how savage they could be and how ferocious they could be on the battlefield. So without knowing your enemy's tactics or what to really expect, they got just destroyed. So Varian is very worried that, okay, that's going to be what happens now. Right? Like, I'm going to have to lead essentially this second iteration, and when I do that, it's going to have to be... I don't want to mess up like my father did. Yeah. I don't want to lose as many troops as my father did, because when this happened, it was devastating for the Alliance. If it happens again, this could be the end of the Alliance. Yeah. And he's like, we can't go down. Like, this can't be happening. This can't happen this way. So he's like, I know orcs. I know how they work. I know what they're doing. But this is the Iron Horde, not the other Horde. The other Horde were demon blood-fueled, like, psychopaths. These guys are using tactics and strategy, and it's not good. And they're using these crazy war machines that have never been seen before. So it's like, oh, awesome, wonderful.
Like, they got new toys and I don't like them.
Exactly how that works. So with the help of the Horde and the Alliance, we have a nice team up here. Vol'jin is still the current war chief of the Horde. And he's like, oh, fuck this guy. So we have a nice big team-up moment here. We fight their forces back through the newly awakened Dark Portal, and we kick their ass back to Draenor. Okay. Without the problems of the first war, where, we got wrecked. So we did the wrecking this time, which was fantastic. Now, when we get through to the other side... Varian and pretty much everybody else there, we managed to grab a bunch of their siege equipment, and we destroyed the Dark Portal. Okay. From the other side.
But now you're on the other...
Now we're trapped.
Okay. Oh.
But we had to stop them from getting... through. Because that's where all the civilians and,
they gotta protect the people first, but dang, now they're trapped on the... Because was it only breakable from the other side?
Wasn't only breakable from the other side, but the siege equipment that they were using to break the Dark Portal was on this side,
Oh, okay.
So, at this point in World of Warcraft's history, we don't really do siege equipment. Like, we have troops. We have armored soldiers marching in tandem to do something. It's not a question of, look at these missiles that we have, Yeah. Whereas Garrosh is like, no, I made missiles. Like, I made boom.
I made boom boom.
So that, taking that into a medieval style fight, even if you do have, wizards and shit, whoop-de-fucking do. It's neat, it's good, but magic missile versus, an actual AR-15... You
have told these stories of mages who have made a tidal wave that almost took out a whole city, and we couldn't destroy this thing from over here. We had to use their siege equipment.
Yeah. So a little bit of this is suspend your disbelief.
1000%. It's a fantasy game.
Obviously, because the Iron Horde weren't exactly going to sit there while we that done, placed, got explosives put into the place. Because gnomes and goblins, like, there is explosives. We can do that kind of stuff. But it made for a more interesting story, I suppose.
1000%.
The way that you're going to have to kind of proceed.
I'm into it.
So we're on the other side. All the heroes of the Alliance and the Horde have made this big push, and it took everybody to push them back and get them where they are right now. Mm-hmm. We get on the other side of this portal, and we see legions waiting for us. Cool. Their troops and stuff, this was the first assault, and it was going to be a siege, and we stopped that from happening.
That's crazy.
So hooray.
But now we're trapped on the other side of this portal lots and lots of bad guys.
Mm-hmm. With the freaks, with the bad guys,
with the freaks, with the
little freaks, with the freaks that have knife hands. So yeah, it's not great. It's not wonderful. But because of this, there are some allies that we can kind of lean on here. So the Horde end up teaming up with the Frostwolf clan. Okay. Which was Thrall's original clan, and they are still there. Okay. So Duratan, I believe, is still there with his weapon, the Doom Hammer, leader of the Frostwolf clan. And they're called the Frostwolf clan because they're orcs that ride around on giant frost wolves. That's pretty dope. It's terrifying. And some people will remember Duratan from the World of Warcraft movie, live-action movie. Okay. He was the main orc. Okay. He was the orc that fought Gul'dan. Okay. He lost, but he tried. And the only reason Gul'dan won was because he was using magic. But, to each their own.
Dang filthy magic users.
Filthy magic users. Now, I'm going to throw this word around a lot, so I should kind of explain what it means. Mak'gora, and if you remember the other stuff where it's like Bane challenged... Cairn challenged Garrosh to Mak'gora, which is single, honorable, one-on-one combat. Yeah, where it's honorable, and he got pissed off at that one lady because she poisoned his blade. Exactly, because that's not the way fighters are supposed to do it. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna see that word come up, technically Duratan challenged Gul'dan to Mak'gora. He's like, fight me one-on-one for leadership of the Horde. Mm-hmm. And he used magic and he cheated and he won. But it's supposed to be more of this is a long-standing orcish tradition of 1v1 combat, winner take all. And you can kill the guy or you can leave him alive, that's up to you. But the winner's taking it all. But the winner's taking whatever they want from whatever. So generally it was a way of succession. So it's if there's a chief and you want to be the chief, you can challenge him, and if you win, you can take the chieftain from him. But that's going to be important later, so there's a reason that I needed to bring that up. For sure. So we find our allies in the Draenor people. Okay. The Alliance find our allies with the Draenor in a place called Shadowsong Woods. Okay. Is where we set up our place. Now, this is going to be important because this expansion has done something that no other World of Warcraft expansion has done so far. To a very limited degree, we got to see a bit of this in Mists of Pandaria, where we had the farm that we had. But now they're taking it a step further. You want your own base? Ooh! Yes, we get garrisons. Okay. Is what they're called, because we are the front lines of the assault on Draenor. Because Garrosh is here, Garrosh has mustered his forces, and we are here to stick it to him sideways. Okay. Now, once we get set up, the Horde set up in a place called Frostfire Ridge, with the Frostwolf clan. The Alliance set up in Shadowsong Woods. Might be Shadowmoon Valley. Yeah, Shadowmoon Valley. There it is. Shadowmoon Valley. Now, once we get set up, we open up portals back to our own timeline. Okay. and we use these portals to bring troops and supplies into our garrison.
Okay, so we're not totally stuck here.
Not totally stuck here. No, we can find some ways to get some stuff that we need.
We made it a lot harder for them to get to where we are.
Exactly, because the main thing is, if we were to just leave it, like, let's say we broke the portal. Cool, we broke the portal from this side. They can just get it up and running again later.
Yeah,
so it's not a permanent.
You have to defend it.
Yeah, it's not a permanent solution. It's okay. So now we have our garrison. We're launching attacks and raids and destroying their stuff while they're trying to snuff out the Alliance and the Horde forces that are here. So we're making it really difficult for them at this point in time.
Okay. They're annoyed by us.
They are very, very frustrated by us.
The ants got through my portal and then broke it.
The ants got through my portal, broke the portal, and now they're setting up, like, whole ant hills in my backyard, and I don't appreciate that.
Like, this sucks. This isn't how this was supposed to go.
Now, most of the time, as players for World of Warcraft, it's pretty, self-explanatory, right? Like, you go on the quests, you do the things, you get the experience, you level up, you get the gear, etc., right? It's a pretty common thing. With garrisons, they introduced a new idea, and that idea was, what if you could have an emporium for tailoring? What if you could have your own bank in your garrison?
Oh, okay.
What if you could set up a leatherworking shop in your garrison?
So it's essentially everything that you would normally have to run around to be able to do, you have all in one place.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, so they kind of automated a lot of stuff. Well, you are essentially the commander of the largest garrison that the Horde or Alliance have, right?
Okay.
Now, because of that, your time is important. And there are people who are willing to do shit for you.
Okay.
Now, because of that, there are heroes that are at your disposal. That you can tell them what you want them to do. Okay. You can send them out on missions. And depending on the type of mission you send them on, they might come back with money. They might come back with garrison resources to grow your garrison and build it bigger. They might come back with items and stuff, and you can increase the gear score and the level of these characters by sending them out on missions.
Yeah.
Just like you would a normal, real character.
Yeah.
That's never been done before.
That's super fun.
Now, each of one of these characters that you can kind of unlock and do stuff with had special abilities, traits. So some of them are tailors, some of them are leather workers, some of them are blacksmiths, some of them are, enchanters, etc., etc. And when you build your tailoring emporium or your blacksmith shop, if you have a hero or champion unit that has those abilities, they can work there and make stuff faster for you. Okay. Or they can make it cheaper or like different, other benefits like that. Some of them even have the special side ability called Bodyguard. Okay. And if they have that, they will actively come out with you in Draenor and help you fight.
Interesting. Okay.
So, most notably for the Alliance, there is a Dwarven Death Knight that has that feature called Bodyguard. Okay. And he will just follow you around.
That's cool.
And you have a whole companion that's just there whooping ass next to you.
That's super cool.
Had all of the abilities that a Death Knight does.
That's crazy.
Which was great for my hunter.
You're like, I want an ally.
I want a tank. Yeah. And he was very good at that. And again, you can up their gear score, make them hit harder, do more damage.
That's awesome, because I feel like a lot of the times with World of Warcraft, you have to rely on other people playing with you. And if you don't have 16 buddies,
Yep.
who have the time or want to play World of Warcraft,
right,
with you, then you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So having the option to have a companion, so you can have a tank or you can have something else that you need, is super cool.
And you started out with a pretty small area, but as you advanced, you could unlock more stuff. So you use garrison resources to upgrade the overall level of your garrison, and you had slots for buildings. Okay. So you got to choose and customize your garrison however you wanted it to be. If you wanted to have a bank that you just wanted to be able to access easily from your garrison, you could put that in there. It cost a building slot, but you could do it. Okay. But let's say your character doesn't have any crafting skills, right? Like, you're not a blacksmith, you're not a tailor, you're not any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So having a tailoring emporium or a blacksmith shop doesn't do you any good because you have to be one of those to have those benefits.
Yeah.
Well, you could put up a trapper's area if you wanted to.
Okay.
Where you could harvest resources for you.
Yeah.
Like, because there's small, medium, and large building slots.
Okay.
And each one of them had something different that they did. I really enjoyed the large building slot being used for the gnomish engineering workshop.
Okay.
Because it made it so it would just craft these marvels
for
you to use. And they always had a limited number of charges, but they would do different shit.
Okay.
So every day you could come back and get new consumables.
Uh-huh.
Some of them were turrets that you could put down that would just automatically attack enemies.
Uh-huh.
There was a portable tank.
Okay.
Gnomish tank that you could get in and ride
so
around
cool.
and just be like, haha, get fucked. There was, like, bombs. There were things that increased your movement speed. All kinds of fun shit.
Yeah.
There was, like, 10 different random things that you could get.
Okay.
But another one was garrison abilities.
Okay.
Garrison abilities were wild because every time you went into a new zone, you could go through quests to unlock garrison abilities.
Ooh.
And in the beginning area, at least for the Alliance, I don't remember if this was the way for the Horde, but it was called Call for Aid.
Okay.
So if you click that button, a bunch of Alliance soldiers would show up and just start beating the shit out of whatever you were attacking for about 2 minutes.
That's so dope.
Extremely useful.
Very useful.
Very good ability. And there were others that were, just like, you could kind of choose and mix and match what you wanted. So if you went and saved some mages over in this one location, you could get, like, a meteor swarm attack.
Okay.
That you could just kind of call in an airstrike, and the mages over here in this tower that you just saved them would go, okay, humana, boom. And then there you go. And you could do that every, like, 5 minutes.
Okay.
There was one that would summon, like, if you helped out these gnomes with this ancient technology stuff, they would summon a Titan core that would follow you around and zap enemies that were nearby to you and just massive amounts of damage. All kinds of fun, unique stuff that you could do that was all quest-based. So you have to save those mages if you want that big boom spell.
Yeah.
But once you do that, you could use that as a garrison ability. And you can then swap out your garrison abilities and be like, I need to do this, or I want to do this, or I have to have this. It was very unique.
Okay.
And they had never done anything like it in World of Warcraft history before. So it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. And while the story of Warlords of Draenor, I don't think held up super well, I think the mechanics and the stuff that they implemented to make it more fun was very good. Right.
It was a more mechanics-focused expansion rather than a story-focused one.
Exactly. Now, I also had you kind of check out some other stuff, but so, the Horde and the Alliance, we're kicking Iron Horde ass. We get to see a showdown between Garrosh and Thrall, a.k.a. Pickle Jesus.
Pickle.
So, people got, again, Horde players very upset.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Their main war chief, their war chief was made out to be the bad guy of 2 expansions.
Yeah.
I get it. I would be upset too. So they decided to bring back the guy that they were kind of offshooting a lot, which was Thrall, Pickle Jesus. Because they wanted to give the Horde a win. And so Thrall comes back. He's one of the champions. He's this, he's had his spirit journey. He's talked to the elements. He's good. He's fraud. He's bod. And he's here to kick ass again. And finally, after we've been enough of a thorn in the Iron Horde's side, Garrosh comes out of hiding, quote unquote. And Thrall challenges him to mock Gra, which you get to see. You saw that cinematic, which again, some people think was a little bit of bullshit because he didn't beat him physical prowess. He beat him shaman magic. So
here's the biggest reason why I think I would be upset at that little side cinematic scene, and this seems like it's a pretty constant in World of Warcraft, is when you're playing a video game, I feel like the whole point is that you get to be the main character, right?
Mm.
You're the hero, you're the badass, you're the one who's doing all this stuff. And so when you have cutscene cinematics where NPC gets to save the day, that's the problem for me. It's like, and I think that's a difficult thing with like those open world kind of like, what are they called? MMOs. Is that there's so many people playing that game.
Yep.
And there's so many people who are supposed to be
the hero.
The main character. Like, you're telling me that 2.9 million, like 3.1 million people playing this game are all the heroes of this world? And I think it's really cool concept having it be an actual virtual kind of world where people can like interact and stuff. Like, that in and of itself is really cool, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna have a main character in that story unless it is an NPC. So you're playing this game where you're going around, you're doing all these quests, you're doing all these missions, but you're never gonna be the head honcho. You're never gonna be the guy who gets the big bad. Even down to raids where it's like you need 30 people to fight one boss. And I think it's super fun as like a collaborative way to play games. Mm-hmm. But if you're playing a game to be the main character, I feel like it kind of takes away from it to have the NPC get the final kill. It's like in D&D when the DM has a character who's like, oh, I slung-shot the giant with my with my pebble, and it accidentally did the final damage to this, big creature.
Yeah, no, that is a very valid point to bring up, and it's funny that you do that because that is going to be a huge problem here in a minute. A lot of people didn't like this ending. Because it felt like a kill steal.
Yeah.
Like, we're here killing Garrosh. We're here sticking it to him. Why does Thrall get to 1v1 this guy? Plus, from a storytelling aspect, it didn't make a whole lot of sense because Garrosh is, like, the main threat.
Yeah.
He was the one who formed the Iron Horde. So, why is it that Thrall is 1v1ing him right now? Like, what's going on? So a lot of people were just very confused. The storytelling was off. It could have been better. It should have been better.
Yeah.
And it just felt like they were trying to kind of repent for what they did and let the Horde have a win, but they didn't let the Horde have a win was the whole problem. And so it tried and failed to hit the mark of, oh, we made the Horde the bad guy and we're sorry and we're making it better, and then they didn't.
It's like, our fans are mad at us, so we're gonna pivot the story to be what you want, and then it's like, you didn't ask what we wanted. If you were gonna do what we wanted, make somebody else the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, I know what you want. And it's like, no, you don't though. So again, now it's the question of where does the expansion go from here, right?
Yeah, because you said this happened like halfway through the expansion, right? Not even towards the end of it.
Yeah, pretty much
halfway through. Because it's like, there's still a giant army out there. It's not like killing the leader is gonna make all the other bad guys just fall to the ground dead. But at the same time, it's like, that was supposed to be the big bad guy of the campaign.
Yep, so this is where it gets super anticlimactic, in my opinion. And I don't like where the story turned from here. To be honest, the entire idea of using time travel always gets very sticky whenever you're trying to tell a story, and I don't think they instituted it very well, in my opinion. But alright, whatever, it is what's happening. I loved the garrisons. I loved a lot of what was happening. I loved getting to see Draenor in this, like, unspoiled state. Was really cool. Instead of the, like, hellscape that it was when you go there in the first expansion.
See what it's supposed to be like.
It was beautiful. And, like, the scenery was gorgeous. They did a huge update on all the models and made them look way more interesting and intricate. And they were able to put a lot of facial expression behind stuff that wasn't there before. But again, where does this put us in the story? Well, Garrosh is dead. But his father, I think Gromosh, is not dead. And so he is kind of still leading the Iron Horde, kind of not. And of course, in pops Gul'dan.
Okay.
Because he offered you power once, and you said no. Well, you want revenge? You want to actually stick it to these people who are invading your homeland.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in a surprising bit, and probably again because they didn't want to make the Horde seem like assholes, and Gromosh was a very well-loved character from the other games.
Yeah.
He gets pissed. And he attacks Gul'dan.
Oh, wow.
He is actively like, we declined this shit before. We will not be slaves. This is not going to happen. And the other orcs restrain him.
So it happens.
And it happens anyway. There's this guy called Kilrog. And he comes up and he takes Gul'dan's deal. And so now we have the Fel army again, kind of like the Fel.
These are like the silent orcs who are like, we wanted to take the deal in the first place. Mm-hmm. And like, because the only proof that they had that they were going to be slaves to him was this guy coming back from supposedly the future.
Yeah.
And saying that this is going to happen.
I did also fully neglect to say the Bronze Dragon was immediately killed by Garrosh when he got back to the past. Yeah, he didn't want him telling him where they had went, so he just kills him. Anyway,
this is why we don't help evil people.
This is why we don't help evil people. So, Gromosh is held against his will, and I don't think they force him to take the drink, to the blood. But Kilrog drinks it, so Gul'dan and the Legion get control over the Iron Horde now, and they go to Hellfire Citadel, which is where they are going to make their last stand against the Horde and the Alliance. This was so disappointing, because again, from a player's perspective, it's like, okay, so now we're just going back to essentially the events of the first expansion, where we're fighting demon orcs because they're tainted with demon blood. And,
we already played the first expansion.
Yeah, we already played the first expansion. What are you doing? The whole point of this was supposed to be the Iron Horde. It was supposed to be a new thing. And then we just kick Garrosh's ass midway, and that's weird. And it, like, a lot of it just was bad storytelling. It could have been so much better. And we wanted it to be better. Like, a lot of the players really were looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the numbers here in a minute, and it's going to sound really good, and we're going to figure some stuff out. But you're going to see how the excitement drops.
Yeah.
Because it started out with a really fun idea, and the cinematic...
It's so good.
So
if you have never sat down and watched the World of Warcraft cinematics, even if you've never played World of Warcraft, but you're just interested in really cool like fantasy stuff, highly recommend checking out the first cinematics. Mm-hmm. Just like the trailer cinematics, essentially. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the cinematics from the you can watch those too. I'm sure they're sure the compilations are really good, and they are really good. We watched some of them, but it's just the animation of the trailers are insane, and it looks so badass.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty, and it's so cool, and I'm telling you, World of Warcraft, Blizzard just needs to make a full movie that's like that. It's probably going to be, it would take up it would be like a 2 terabyte space. Like, it would take so long and so much money and so much work to do it, because that's how crazy smooth and really good looking the animations are. But you can do it, and it would be so cool.
Also,
because they're always so epic.
The crazy thing was that cinematic was from 2014.
Wild.
That was 12 years ago they made
insane. Literally, I cannot express to you how insane it is. And I want more. Give me more. Give me a full story like that. Oh my gosh. But don't mess up the story up like you did with Warlords of...
Warlords of Draenor. Because again, they needed a win. They needed a win because Pandaria, their numbers were sinking. Things were not looking good. We need to get back. And I get why it's okay, maybe the panda thing seemed a little out of the box. Maybe they were trying to hit more towards their core ideas again. And so they went with their core ideas a little too hard, where it's that's just the first expansion at this point now in the bottom half of this game. That's not super fun.
Yeah,
that's not very interesting. We want it to be more, and it wasn't.
They say if something works, then just repeat the process, but that doesn't really work when you're telling a story.
Yeah.
You can't just loop it back around on itself.
So we go, we fight Gul'dan, we fight the Fell Iron Horde now, Demon Iron Horde, I guess. I don't even know what you want to call it. It was not great.
Because sometimes it can be nostalgic.
Right.
That might have been, they might have been trying to go for nostalgic, and then people were like, you just copy and pasted.
And the first half of this expansion, in my opinion, was very good. I really enjoyed it. We got to go back to Nagrand. We got to see Hemet Nessingway, which was amazing. Because like he was from the very first expansion, and he's like the greatest hunter that the world has ever known, Azeroth has ever known.
Okay.
And he's a big game hunter, and that's his whole thing. And in the very first game, or very first expansion, there was quests that you did for Hemet Nessingway, which was basically go and kill all these different animals in Nagrand. Because he's a big game hunter, so he's like, yeah, go fight these beasts, go do the thing. And we got to see him again, and he's got a kid, and it's super fun, very nostalgic, lots of crazy things happening. Because, yeah, it's essentially the same area as the first expansion. So they were able to cram a lot of that in there. But they went a little too heavy with it. Like, it went way farther than it needed to make it its own unique story.
Yeah.
It started to feel more like, isn't this just the first expansion?
Yeah.
With a little bit of drizzle here and there, you know? Like, what is going on?
If you are gonna go back and just redo the same thing from the first expansion, don't make it be a cop-out where it's like nobody even wanted this to happen, you know, like it feels like a cop-out. It feels like you're like, okay, well, the bad guy's dead now, so.
And one of these times we'll get into some of the other characters because they are very important. Like Gul'dan and stuff is very important because Gul'dan is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, warlock that has ever existed in Azeroth. So just like we have Jaina for like the strongest mage, Gul'dan is that, but for warlock. So if you're looking for dudes dabbling in demon power, it's probably Gul'dan. That not including like Illidan, because he just actively puts a fucking gimp switch on a bunch of demons to steal their power.
To be fair,
but,
he is fighting against the demons while the other guy's working with
them. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Little different.
It is funny because eventually Gul'dan has those moments too, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been pretending to work with you guys." He's like, I've been your servant, your loyal lapdog for so long, and he's actually just been stealing their secrets to get even more powerful, but...
Right, he's like, I'm gonna get as powerful as I can.
Yeah.
Making you think that I'm chill with you.
And to be honest, he is evil. 100%. Yeah. But he pretends like he's more of a, like, yes, master kind of thing, but he's more of an evil genius.
It's one of those things where it's like, evil people can never work with other evil people because somebody's inevitably going to stab them in the back.
Yeah, Gul'dan will be one of, if not the most important character in the next expansion.
Okay.
Because he's the big bad.
Okay.
He's the this isn't looking good.
Okay.
And a lot of people believe that Legion was the best expansion.
Okay.
For World of Warcraft, and it should have died there.
Yeah.
It should have not continued after Legion. Legion is one after this.
Okay, so it's the next one.
Legion is after Draenor, I believe, yes.
Okay.
So the next expansion is the one people say should have been the one.
So it's good enough that they wanted to go through this to be able to play Legion. Interesting. Okay.
A lot of people thought Legion was, because great storytelling, a lot of fun stuff, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let's talk numbers really quickly.
Yes, let's do it.
So, knowing what you know, here's a fun question. How well do you think they did day one?
I think that this is kind of like the pandas. It didn't do great on day one. But it made up for it a little bit during the week. So if it does, though, because Pan doesn't even have a number for day one.
Nope.
So if this one does have a day one number, it has to be 1 million. Like 1.1, maybe.
Interesting. So, like, I like where your logic was going, and it makes sense to think that way.
Because it has to be more than what the pandas made, but it can't
which was like 2.7
the first week, and so it's like a third of that. Because I also don't think it would have a day one number if it did less than 1 million.
Yeah, so people were very excited when this first came out, and through the first half, people were kind of like, okay.
Oh, if they were excited about this one, I'm going to say 2.2 million.
This sold 3.3 million copies day one.
Dang! They're coming back with this one.
They're coming back.
They did not like it was just the pandas. Get your pandas out of my World of Warcraft. Whoa!
Yeah, people, this was a huge comeback for Blizzard. This expansion was the one that they needed for the win.
That's wild!
And as I said, like, the very first half did really well. Their subscription numbers jumped from 7.4 million subscribers to 10.5 million.
Dang! So the first half of this was good enough that people were like, yeah, baby!
I mean, it didn't double their subscribers, but 10.5 million from 7.4, and that's a $10 or a $15 subscription fee a month. Yeah, that's some money. That's some money.
And you couldn't make an hour and a half long cinematic.
Yeah, if they had just done that, probably would have done better. So now, like, that worked great. So the first half of this game, freaking phenomenal. In the first quarter of the year that this came out, these numbers would drop.
Okay, there it is.
To 7.1 million subscribers.
Okay, so it goes back down to where it was.
No, they lost 300,000 subscribers.
Okay, a little lower.
So 300,000 subscribers less than before the expansion came out.
Okay.
By the end of the second quarter, it would be 5.6 million.
People were not having it.
The lowest numbers that World of Warcraft had seen since 2005.
Yeah, people were not having it.
Not having it at all. In November 2015, Blizzard said that they would no longer be posting their subscription numbers.
This made them stop.
As their subscription numbers went to 5.5 million.
It was so bad. They're like, we don't want people to see that we messed it.
That it's going this bad.
We want people to think that other people still like it, even though... Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is crazy. They said that they were Oh my god.
So it was going really well. And again, it was looking like the expansion that World of Warcraft needed. And then it kind of just full flopped on that back end. And a lot of people also say that it feels like this expansion was written halfway, and then they had to come up with some stuff really quickly to meet deadlines.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of half-assed after that, because they're like, the writing and everything was really good. Like, really enjoyed everything up to that midway point, where it's just like, and then it just falls on its face.
That's crazy.
Fully loses its momentum.
You know, I gotta say, I lose a little respect for Blizzard. I mean, I don't know if there was respect there before, but to stop, I feel like what would have been better is to, like, make a public, like, if instead of putting on there, like, we're saying that we're not posting these anymore, just be like, we realize that this didn't live up to some of your guys' expectations. This is going to be our next expansion that's coming out, and we're going to work double time to make sure that this is the story you guys wanted. That I feel like that would have worked way better than being like, guys, you can't look at my numbers anymore.
Yeah. It was really upsetting for a lot of World of Warcraft players. The fact that it hit those numbers, because I guarantee it hit lower. But we don't know.
Oh, it had to hit so low.
Yeah.
If they stopped posting them, it had to be rough.
It's painful to think about. But they hit it. They did what they were trying to do. Like, they hit that 3.3 million day one again. Like, good sales. Not breaking records, but far better than the Panda one had done.
Yeah.
You know, like, they had to have been looking at this situation, been like, oh man, we did it. Like, we're getting back up there, baby. Like, we're getting that momentum for our expansions again. which is so rough because like the first couple expansions breaking records each expansion, then Pandaland comes out and you just watch it fall on its face.
Yeah, that's rough.
And then this one comes out and it's your saving grace of like, let's go, like we did it. We finally got those numbers back up to the areas we want. And 10.7 million subscribers a month.
Because
amazing.
That's the thing is like the pandas didn't fully flop. It didn't sell as much initially, but their subscriber numbers didn't go down. They still had people wanting to play the game. Mm-hmm. The fact that this one flopped so hard that people were actually excited about it, and then it literally ruined it for them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, like, there's so many things. You could just been like, you could get a deadline, be like, hey, we're not fully done with the story, so vote on whether you want half the story now, half the story later, or if you want a full just delay in the expansion.
Right.
It would have been so easy.
It really would have been, and I think that was where it just kind of, a lot of people lost their love for World of Warcraft when this expansion came out. Again, loved the mechanics. I loved the garrison. There was also in the garrison there was a full mine shaft that you could go down. You could harvest minerals and stuff. There was an herb garden that you could kind of customize and you could harvest herbs and stuff. Like, beautiful. Loved that place. There was portals. It was so good.
Yeah.
And you could even go down to customizing what kind of guards you wanted.
That's crazy.
I had night elf sentinels because my guy was a night elf.
Yeah.
And so I had a bunch of like super awesome armored female warriors guarding my garrison with their big ass glaives that they could throw at people. That's so
cool.
And it was dope. Like, you could even go through garrison invasions. You could actively click a button and make people attack your garrison to see how well you held off the enemy, and you get rewards out of it. Just great. There were naval ship battles. Anyway, like, it was really cool. And it sucks that it fell so flat.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And they even introduced a new thing, which, when you got an item, there was a chance that it would automatically get an upgrade. So a green item might be blue, or even epic quality. Which some people liked, some people didn't.
Yeah.
It's, up to the individual. But, like, it was such a good idea. It had a lot of really interesting concepts, but I think it was a little ambitious to run around with the time travel. Like, that was kind of rough.
I feel like at the end of the day, people were excited about it, so they could have made it work. You know, there is a story to be told there that's not just a rerun of what happened beforehand. It's just a matter of, like you said, it sounds like they just didn't have time to actually, like, do it. And it sounds very much of, like, while World of Warcraft, people love it for, like, the mechanics and the gameplay of it, no amount of mechanics in this situation is going to make up for the lack of story.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that, right? Like, if your favorite character, the characters that you've been playing for, the story that you've been playing for, just takes such a drastic turn, it sucks. Like, it just sucks. And again, I feel really bad for the Horde players. Because the Horde players got messed over on these expansions. Like, having the main leader of a faction become the bad guy, that's rough. That's real rough.
And it's rough, but it seems like it didn't stop people from coming back.
It didn't. They were ready.
Because here's the thing, is that, like, even if you make... It's gonna suck if you make your main dude the bad guy. But if you have another champion who's like, I'm not gonna stand for it, you know? Or, again, if you can be the person who's like, I'm not gonna fucking stand for this, you know? Where it's like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kick this guy's booty hole.
Yep. Which, like, again, going back to the other story, if Karn or Cairn had beat Garrosh, that was one of the wins that a lot of people were looking for, the Mak'gara. Having Thrall come back to do it and then not take over the Horde afterwards. You didn't even have the current leader of the Horde kick his ass. You brought back Pickle Jesus just to have him kick his ass and then walk away?
Because that's the thing, is that Thrall keeps walking away. He keeps being like, I have other things to do. Which, like, very clearly saying he's, at the very least, he's not the leader he used to be if he's willing to just up and be like, peace out, Horde.
They wrote him out of the game.
They wrote him out?
Like, in World of Warcraft, for quite a while, you could not find Thrall. And it wasn't a question of like, oh, well, he's here doing this. his model is not in the game for the longest time because they were like, it's time to retire Thrall. We're gonna do this other stuff. We've said he's off doing his own thing, and they brought him back for these specific like instruments here. But why?
There's literally no reason. Let's just make it a bug. Exactly, make it a boss. Make it a raid.
Yeah, let's kick Garrosh's ass. Like that's the whole point. And I think, like you were saying, that's what the players wanted. Even the Horde players, we're like, okay, cool. We get the chance to stomp this guy. He was a mistake. He fucked up. And this is our chance to redeem ourselves and kick his ass. And then a member of not even the Horde essentially anymore, which is Thrall, comes in and does it. Like, the Horde players would have very much preferred, I feel like, to have stomped Garrosh's ass in.
And if you still wanted to make that the middle point, and you still want to have the nostalgia of green orcs without anything, make it there's a faction of orcs. Yeah. Where, like, we did this.
Small group.
A small group where it's like, now you can encounter these people as a problem in certain areas of the map, where it's like, no, that wouldn't have been a problem, but making the entire expansion just that again?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you have the problem of, like, they're fighting against each other now, maybe, like...
Yeah, I didn't like it. I wasn't super happy about it, but, at that time, I was starting to get to the point where I wasn't playing as often, and so it's like, okay. Honestly, the Legion expansion was the one where I played through the entire thing. That was the last expansion that I played through fully before taking a huge break from World of Warcraft. So then there was Dragonflight, and, Shadowlands, and all this other stuff. I think it's Shadowlands and, like, War for Azure. Anyway, all this stuff. But it could have been great. This is the story of that expansion. This is the story of an expansion they came out with that everybody got excited for. Everybody was hyped for. It was the thing that was going to resurrect World of Warcraft, and then it just kind of flopped at the end. Now, again, like you brought up, their numbers are still great.
And I feel like I've been seeing a big resurgence of it, too.
Huge resurgence, and we get to get into that.
Exactly. So, like, that's the thing about... I think this happens with, like, any thing that lasts this long, where it's like, you're gonna have your hits and you're gonna have your misses. And so, I don't think they're ever gonna beat those first couple of expansions. Like... The reason that they have lasted so long and have been able to grow for so long is because of those first couple of expansions, and I don't think they're ever going to reach. If they reach that again, it's going to be crazy.
Now, in my opinion, the next expansion was amazing because they finally did what everyone had been asking for them to do for the longest time. Because in World of Warcraft, for pretty much since the beginning, it's been Horde versus Alliance, Horde versus Alliance, Horde versus Alliance, and that's like always, it'll be like, look at this new threat that's come up, but it's still that constant underlying Horde versus Alliance, Horde versus Alliance. It still happens in the next one.
Okay.
But the thing is, we start off Legion with the best start that I think I've seen for a story. In any of the expansions.
Okay.
And that's that the Burning Legion is coming. Like, they're here. And the Horde and the Alliance are both like, oh no.
It's like, we have no other choice.
This is real bad. And they march their full assault on the Legion.
Okay.
But this is such a big deal. All the heads of every faction are here. Every race is here. Okay. So we have High Tinker King Mechatork from the Gnomes.
Dang, they really called the Avengers.
Is here. We're bringing in the airships that we brought back from Northrend, essentially. King Varian himself is leading the charge for the Alliance. And we have teamed up with the Horde to essentially be the spear that finally takes out the Legion. The Burning Legion, that's our goal. We're going to kill him. We're finally going to kill him. But Geen Greymane, the leader of the Worgen, is here. Malfurion Stormrage shows up. Tyrande Whisperwind, like all of the characters. The Horde have Vol'jin, Sylvanas, Bane Bloodhoof is here. Like, everybody's here for the assault. And it is awesome.
They literally assemble every single cool person that you've ever met. Is like Jaina there?
Jaina's there. Oh yeah, Khadgar's there. Everybody's here to stick it to the Legion, and it's awesome. It's great because it's one of the first times we've gone into a conflict instead of being like, oh, I kind of hate you, oh, I kind of hate you, oh, I kind of hate you, and there's the little fighting going on over here. It's we come into it with mutual respect.
That's crazy, and World of Warcraft needs more of that.
And it feels like the biggest high five moment where it's like, we got this. We're gonna wreck these guys. Now, I'm unfortunately pretty much immediately this becomes a problem, but it starts out awesome. And I also
had to get the people to buy the expansion because they needed to get at least 1 month of subscriptions to make up for their lack of subscriptions now. Before they were just like, actually now.
Like, there was a whole event before this expansion came out.
Yeah.
A pre-release event, essentially, where for a couple months, the Legion was raining down attacks on certain spots in Azeroth, and you could come and fuck them up. And do quests. And if you did, you got a set of armor called, like, Fell Forged or Fell Fire armor.
Okay.
Oh my god, it was so powerful. But it looked so good.
Yeah.
Oh, the freaking artists went nuts on this stuff. Because there was a set of cloth, leather, mail, and plate.
They were like, you guys were... They had to stop posting subscriptions, babe. They knew they had to come in strong. They had to come in with bribery. They had to. Everything was on the chopping block. They had to make this the best it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And by God, they did it for the first 5 minutes.
There was pets that you could only get during this event.
Yeah.
And to this day, that was still the only way you could get them.
This is
I have
crazy.
like 12 of them.
Of course you do.
And I kept them so I could sell them in the auction house because I'm like, oh, nobody's going to get them.
Yeah.
And this is wonderful, yes.
10 years.
Unfortunately, everyone else had that idea too.
Yeah.
And so it's still to this day trash in the auction house because there's so many of them floating around.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was real rough. I was like, I'm a big brain moment here. And everybody else was like, big brain moment here.
Give it another 10 years.
Yeah, just give it another 10 years. It'll be fine.
Don't worry. It'll still be around.
It'll still be around.
They still won't give me a movie, but it'll still be around.
So, just really quickly, as we go to end this, I do have to say this one little bit because you're going to need this for context.
Okay. Give it to me.
Every time an expansion comes out, you farmed, you clawed, you ground your way to the best gear in the game.
Okay.
Right? You fought the raid bosses. You got the 1% chance drop of that gun that only drops off the final boss in the highest tier raid.
Because there's no other option but to do that.
And you have the best gear.
Uh-huh.
And then a new expansion comes out.
It's time to do it all over again.
And you kill the first trash mob. And it drops a weapon that's better than your weapon.
Okay. Well.
And there is... You know it's going to happen, but it doesn't stop it from hurting because you had to spend so much time getting the gear and making it good and like trying.
Why they gotta do that though? They can't just make it a little worse.
Well, it's because some people don't have these things called lives.
Oh.
And the only semblance of joy they get is to whip out their e-penis online and show that they got the 1% gun, that they're doing the best damage the world has to see.
And so in the new expansion, they have to be like, just give it a minute.
no guy who's sitting there telling you his DPS rates and being like, yeah, I'm actually in the top 5% of World of Warcraft for damage dealers. That guy doesn't have a life. Okay?
It's not possible to do that without spending 25 hours in a day.
That guy does not have healthy relationships in his life because his life is World of Warcraft. It's eat, sleep, go to work, craft. Like, that guy takes time off from work to go to raids. Not to hang out with his family or his friends, but to go on raids with his guild.
That's crazy.
And it's just, like, it's sad, right? And it's always sad. And it's always been sad. Because, you know, there was a point that I was that guy. So I get it. I 100% understand. This is not coming from a place of hate. This is coming from a place of self-perspective.
This is coming from inside the house.
I understand it. But the thing is, when you hit that point, when you're getting those items, and then the next expansion comes out, and you do start getting the better items, it feels like such a bittersweet moment, because you're like, yeah, I got a new gun, and it does more damage. Oh, God, I spent weeks getting this gun. Like, this was the best one you could get, and now it's just replaced by the first quest I did.
This is why this would be so easy. Just actually level it. Because World of Warcraft resets their level system all the time, right?
I believe this is the first time we're actually going to get into the level crunch. Level crunch hasn't happened yet, but it's happening soon.
That's crazy. Why can't you just make the trash mobs like just a little tiny bit less good than the 1% drop? So that way, for the people who didn't get the 1% drop, it's still probably better for them. But for the people who did, it's not automatically better.
And the reason I bring this up is because this is, in this next expansion, the idea of what I just brought up will become the saddest thing that you've ever known. Simply because, remember how I said, like, it kind of sucks because, I spent so much time, right? Well, in this next expansion, they thought it would be a great idea to introduce these things called heirloom weapons, artifact weapons.
Yeah.
The most legendary equipment that World of Warcraft has to offer. Weapons wielded by champions from book series and comic books and in the game for the longest period of time, now wielded by you, the player. If you were a paladin, you got Ashbringer, which was this big two-handed holy relic sword, the most powerful holy sword that Azeroth had ever seen. Now, that's awesome, right? That's epic. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And then I want you to remember that rule I just told you.
The next time.
So when the next expansion comes out, that legendary sword
that's only been
loses all of its powers.
It just loses its powers?
Yep.
I don't like this game.
Yep. It was.
That's rough, man.
Even worse because these weapons leveled with you.
No.
So you had to get items to level them up and build them in power and strength and customize them exactly how you wanted to. You could change the appearance of them, all this stuff. And now it is on a shelf collecting dust because the next thing you got was better.
Why? That literally doesn't... Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah, so we'll see you next time.
That makes me sad and depressed.
Yeah, it's real bad. Until then, if you like these episodes and you want to watch them a whole week earlier, please do go check out our Patreon, where members of every tier get access to these episodes a whole week earlier. So that's absolutely fantastic. And if you're interested in cookbooks, you like making delicious food, and you're also interested in fantasy, which if you're here, I'm guessing you are, you probably would enjoy the Copper Spoon Chronicles, a cookbook adventure written about Cobb Copper Spoon, a halfling going out on a quest to fill up her cookbook and maybe make some friends along the way. So... with that, I think that's everything from me. Anything from you?
Bye!
Bye!